Welcome back for part 2 of session 4 of StarFinder, the Fragments of Eternity. I'm still Ryan, still the GM, no mutinies yet, the tracker is still live, and here are the players. Also, wait, no players, sorry, I'm butting it back in. Off camera. So, loud noises, and it's the 22nd of October, 2018. Here are the players.
So I'm still Olka. I'm still Emmelyn, the pilot of Lashunta race.
The pilot of Lashunta.
Pilot of Lashunta race. Sorry.
And I am still covered in goo.
I am Nico. And, I am playing Zora, the ever increasingly weary vest captain.
I'm Alex. I'm playing Nix5, the android mechanic.
I'm still representing for them gangsters all across the world. I'm Colin. I'm still Lyko, except I wasn't earlier, so... Yeah, I was briefly, actually. I tell a lie.
Welcome back again.
I'd Lyko is a sort of bounty hunter type. Spooky dudes. You know, undead but not. I've done this before. You're like 4 episodes in. You know the deal, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Good.
So, we were at the part where everything went black. And that's us. I hope you've enjoyed it.
It was a good session, guys.
Cat Stevens starts playing. First cut is... Sorry.
So, first cut, Elven, whatever. So, we've got everything flickers black. Like you had the hiss of the steam coming in through that door as they start to open. Everything flickers in, super bright white light, and there is like the kind of muffled sounds of conversation, and then all of you kind of turn round as you are slightly startled by like the noise of like equipment falling off a desk, and you turn round and Emmelyn, you recognise them straight away. You have very strong vibes of that was me. As this person like falls like onto their back, scatters up to the door, kind of screams in panic, hits the door panel and like runs through the doors shut behind him. The other person that was at the other far side of the room, kind of like if you were in a kind of triangle formation where he was closest to the door and the other person's not, they run towards the door and just kind of like try and leap over the fallen over chair, and as they leap over the fallen over chair and head for the door, the place shudders again. And you're back in the empty lab room. So, as the kind of lights flicker back on, in the dark you just see pulsing red and purple, the orb at the door.
Did everybody see that? Is my question in character.
I think I mentioned temporal anomalies earlier, because, hey, that was one.
Anomalies. I thought I was out of Solari in school.
The door's open, isn't it?
Yeah. Alice is then like, so guys, and you're like, I don't know, I assume you all turn around to look at her. Sure. So, can any of you explain, and like you can see her, she's flicking through a log. Why do I have records of you before you docked on the station? And she kind of like looks, like kind of half confused, but kind of half like pointedly, as if like, please explain this to me now.
What?
Well, that's where we just were. Alice, you earlier recorded, checked your records, and found that we had only recently appeared in the station, correct?
When you conned the station. And then
so
replays the file. This is Zora.
I knew
of the 13th hour.
So your records previously recorded that we hadn't been, now record that we have been. That's what they show, right?
And then she like puts her hands together as if like kind of praying, and kind of puts up to like her forehead as if, oh god, this is stressful. And then she just kind of goes, here. And then she like puts her hands out again, still clasped, pointed to you, and then just parts her hands as if she's showing you how big a fish was. And then between there's like a timeline of events that projects, and it's like she then just moves her hands up and points at the start of it. This is where I have a log of you on the station. And she moves her finger all the way up to the middle. Here's when you's come to the station, and then here's where you's docked, and then here's you's getting to this point. So why? And she puts her other finger all the way back across. Why are yous here? And she kind of looks at you, and then kind of claps her hands slowly back together to get rid of the timeline. And then kind of looks at you now, because she seems to just be addressing this to you.
What period of time did that represent?
She kind of looks like...
He does like Lyko would do the hand gestures, mimicking
Yeah.
what she just did.
And she's like... You kind of see her like look off to the side. You know, like when someone clearly doesn't want to answer a question, they kind of look off to like think of an answer. And then she kind of goes... Before. That's all she says.
Okay, not sure what to do with that.
Before what?
And you kind of see her roll her eyes as best she can. Obviously they scream for everybody listening at home. And she opens the kind of timeline again and goes, "You's arrived here. I think we can all agree that." And plays the audio file again. And then you docked here,
we get it.
and then plays like the surveillance footage of you guys meeting her with the crate and her trying to walk through it and stuff like that. Goes,
Oh, hey. So you know how when there are those things that you can't actually detect, so maybe that's not the best example, but when they are interfered with, suddenly there's a person again, and there isn't.
She then displays the footage of you getting shot at by multiple laser guns as you try and like disco dance your way out of all the blasts as these people appear and
that
pop into place.
exactly. So
Looks like some kind of funhouse combo rave.
I think what's happened here is that we have gone into the past through some sort of mechanism related to how the people are coming and going.
She just
Did we-
had her head cocked to the side, staring at you as if, like, half taking it in, half not sure how to
Did
take
we
it in.
leave your records briefly or sensors briefly, and did anyone else appear?
Goes, and then like puts like her hand on her like, or puts her chin on like her fist, and she's kind of like almost imaginarily leaning on something, and she's like, "This is confusing," and then looks off to the side wistfully, and then she then looks at the timeline and then just like flips it round so she's looking at what would be the front of it, and then kind of goes, "You've arrived here," points near the middle, "but yous were also here." And she's just staring at it. And she goes and she looks up and she kind of closes it down and she goes, "I'm sure it'll make sense." And then just like projects near the door that opened. So she vanishes from like the back end of the lab where the computer interface was on the desk. And then she goes to like where the doors have opened and she's like, "Well, shall we?" Like totally skipping that entire line of questioning.
Can I at that point brain talk to the crew and say, should we ask her about the classified project we saw? Maybe she knows something about that. Maybe it's connected.
It probably is connected. She probably knows more, but she won't tell us.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, way to be skeptical, Lyko.
let's not extend this job further than it needs to.
Oh, hey, something occurred to me. I'm saying this directly just to Emmelyn.
Like deja vu.
Yes. So, if there's temporal forces involved, it's not just psychic nonsense. So, that's great.
Well,
It seemed relevant to your field.
You hear Alice then turn to go, you guys are all looking at each other really weird. She kind of narrows her eyes and she's got her hands on her hip in that standard pose that she projects.
we're just looking around.
Oh, just like, oh, and nothing to see here, boss. Just a big giant lizard just going, doo doo doo.
Excellent vest lying. We are looking around!
Does she know that I can communicate through the brain voice?
Who knows what Alice knows?
I don't think we told her, did we?
Depends if she knows about Lashunta.
Yeah.
That
mean-
would seem like an oversight if she didn't, but maybe
I
she
mean-
doesn't know how to identify them.
I mean, has she asked it or said anything race related to any of you?
She's commented in my status a bit.
That's maybe just because the sensors are jank, though.
Yeah, that's true. It did seem to be primarily due to the sensors.
I think she slightly reacted to my Vesk, but I don't know. I can't remember. It's like more like, oh, you're one of those kinda.
And to be fair, you've been here for hours under stressful conditions, so I
Yeah.
don't blame you for not remembering. Right, so
But nothing major.
she's standing at the doors, kind of like, the door's open, guys. What are we waiting on? You have all brain talked to each other. So, are you going to finish the brain talk convo, or are you going to respond to Alice, or what's happening?
Well, I think we responded to the question, was it? So I don't know what the general consensus was. Was just carry on. Never mind unidentified.
I sort of said my piece, but I'll
Classified
follow the captain's lead.
Yeah, I kind of just said that let's not extend the job any further. Like,
Yeah.
probably shouldn't bother about it.
Okay, Captain.
That sounded
That's
sassy, was it meant to?
Well,
Half and half?
okay,
Could
Captain.
Could be. Could be.
Nice. Okay, so
You
yeah,
ask anyway.
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true.
you're a person. Ask anyway.
Such a humble Vesk. That diplomatic corps really suited you.
I mean, as we just
I
lean
feel-
back at like, oh, I'm forgetting there's other people. I can't do my Vest thing.
People have
I feel like
rights too.
Emmelyn doesn't like talking to the AI.
I think
not
we
a
all
bit-
know this.
Yeah.
I think I would probably just like after that just kind of nod on, like gesture.
I think it
Should
makes
probably get
perfect
going.
sense though, because I mean, with other people that you speak to, you probably do get feedback from them when
Yeah.
you like psychically talk to them, right? Whereas you don't with Alice, so that would be a bit
Yeah.
weird, like talking to like a false thing or like a wall or something, you know. So yeah, I think that makes sense. Just as a weird personal quirk that she's got.
Hmm.
Kind of like when you
Use
reached out
this-
to the things with the telekinesis earlier.
Out and touch
Yeah.
faith.
The only other thing you missed, Colin, maybe, was as it was described when she was reaching out to brain talk to the orb, when she was getting her weird vision of seeing this guy freak out at a lab, all the weird plasma energy stuff was crawling out of the orb towards her hand that was reached out for it. And that's when Zora shot it.
That's concerning.
Yes. So that was probably important to know.
Yes.
Probably. So yeah, Alice is there standing at the doors, and then she turns round to walk into like, you know, the bright lit room beyond. And then as she walks in, she flickers out, and then she flickers back in like default mode at the start of the room, at the back, and then she goes, huh. And then you just see her march past everyone, like as in just through you all, and then goes to walk into the room again and flickers out again. And she appears in the back of the room, hands on her hips, pissed off. And you can see that she's trying to process it, but she's not saying anything. But you've just watched her do that kind of almost, you know, loop thing, where Walks forward, appears at the back. Walks forward, appears at the back.
Right.
Mm. Anyone going to comment on that, or just carry on anyway?
I sort of look around questioningly at people, but
I'd probably ask her a problem, Alice.
And then you see her go.
I mean,
There's, and then you can clearly see that she was swearing, but it just comes up loads of like wingding style emoticons that block out her profanity.
oh,
And then she's like, "Right, there's a problem." So you're right, there's a problem. And it's all those emoticons that block out clearly what she was saying. And she's like, and like you just like you hear the hum of the hologram flicker louder, because you can clearly see this is her way of kind of like being stressed but obvious about it. And she's just eyeballing the door at the far side, but she's not saying much.
I am kind of disappointed her mouth wasn't pixelated like 2000's music video.
I would kind of go check the door, I guess.
Oh, the door's open. You could just walk through it if you wanted.
What's the
Oh,
problem,
yes.
Alice?
Walk through.
I'll follow the cat.
You hear her like breathe really heavily, like, and then she just points at the door. So it would seem I can't get in that room.
Why not?
She then just draws you the dirtiest look and doesn't answer, but just like death stare daggers.
Alice, what was Project OMA?
The mobile housing unit. And then she kind of like puts her
And-
hands on her hips again and kind of still looks grumpy.
And it's in that room.
Yep. And then like you see her like flicker out and flicker like near the doorway again, but this time like obviously, you know, a few steps away from the door. And you can see her kind of like slowly put her hand out, and you just see like her hand vanish as she tries to push into the room. And you just kind of see her like with her arm extended into the room, just staring pissed off at it. Or at least probably Zora and Lyko can see her reaction at this point, since, you know, Nyx is behind her by this point. But yeah, and then you see her pull her hand back, and like it takes a second or two, but the hologram reforms her hand. And you just see her kind of like clench a fist and then put her hands on her hips again. So, okay, new plan. And then she kind of like turns around to kind of like see all of you in the one kind of line of sight. And she just waits.
And the plan is,
Oh no, I'm saying we need a new plan.
Can Emmelyn, where did you see those people? Where did you see us come from? Vision.
You just see Alice's eyes like narrow and just her head slowly move over and look at Emmelyn.
Where did I see them? Up here. Was it from the same direction
people?
we came from?
Us.
So, yous appeared in this room,
At which end?
just where yous were standing, you know, in the middle. Kind of like, you know, some at the doorway at the far side, some in the middle ambling around, some at the computer terminal. And yous flickered in, people were working. They scampered for the door, the two people that were in here. One made it through the door, the other made it to the door, and then yous cut out. But yeah, that's what Emmelyn experienced. But Emmelyn experienced it from the, oh god, I'm getting out of this room point of view. Yous then may or may not have seen something really similar to what Emmelyn described from the first person perspective. Who could say? But either way, Alice looks pissed off and confused.
Can I try throwing something through the where Alice can't go through?
What do you want to throw? Lyko, how much do you weigh?
I'm just thinking some piece of
Oh,
equipment.
sorry,
that's
he's
sitting
dead
there.
weight, that's why.
No,
You bitch.
Ah.
4 sessions.
Flickers in GM.
No, imagine just something from one of the desks.
Yeah, like, I don't know, like a pen or like some kind of like touchpad
Yeah.
or something, yeah. Just
Yeah.
throw it into the
Block
doorway.
pen's getting that treatment. In this-
Some sort of
Yep. Pens are
Fancy
never used for
iPad.
writing in this world because there's no paper. So they're just used to get people's attention. Because nobody answers their text.
Hey, it's a
anymore.
clicky attention getter. Why do
bonus,
we put ink in them? Tradition.
bonus points if you can actually get it to click on when it hits someone. Yeah, so pick up a pen, throw it into the room. You just hear the pen hit the floor in the room. You can see also a pen on the floor in the room if you look through the door. So
Were
far
you
we've had Alice
testing
look
for force fields?
force fields, some form of temporal distortion, anything that would explain why the hologram can't be projected into the room. Because they're doing some research in there.
I think as you are having this conversation in the background, obviously you two are your left and right of the screen. In the background you see Alice standing near her desk as she slowly just her hand moves over to a pen and she's slowly trying to pick it up. Just quietly in the background of the shot.
Oh, I do like her. I do. She's frustrating, but I like her.
Emmelyn, can you try moving that pen with your psychic powers?
Then Alice appears right in front of you, Emmelyn. You're a psychic? As if this is the best news she's heard all day.
What do you think that's going to accomplish? I can try.
So
I
I
just-
like that you're totally blanking out.
I am
just
not talking to her.
First thing.
There's been a fair amount of psychic feedback, and I just want to confirm if there's anything going on in there before we step into the room.
Oh, so you're going to use me as a guinea pig. Great.
It's worked so far.
Alice kind of has her hand up in the background, being like, "My sensors haven't picked up any psychic feedback."
Do you have psychic senses?
No.
Well.
She kind of puts her hand down slowly.
I have to agree with Nick 5 in this, that there is only one option if we're going to test for any psychic phenomena, and that's just gun fingers at you. You.
Fine.
Alice looks quite excited at this.
Gesture onwards.
So
Right,
yeah,
so I'm going to use my, put my real hand forward and try to move the pen.
yeah. So yeah, you pick up the pen psychically. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, pen floats in the air.
Okay. Happy?
You're not screaming in agony, that's a start.
Encouraging, yeah.
You see Alice kind of leaning in and looking in the doorway, maybe leaning over to your shoulder but looking down towards the doorway to where the pen is, as if from you to it. And just kind of looking kind of fascinated.
With
Can I try to throw the pen back at Nyx?
Yeah. I mean, go for it. Give me a dex
Yeah.
roll.
You want one from me?
No.
brain
Just
dexterity.
just from Emmelyn.
Oh, I forgot to type.
It's
Do
fine.
you want me to type?
It's fine. It's a nonsensy thing,
Okay.
but that beats your AC, right?
Yeah, that beats my AC.
You're hit with another pen.
Ah. I imagine Nix is quite used to this, and he accepts it.
Absolute android abuse, that's what this is. Doesn't talk
I
to
smart
the AI.
at him.
The real racist is Emmelyn. So,
She really is.
but yeah,
I was the racist all along.
It was
I just-
Barry. Racism all along.
Turn to Alice and I'd ask her, is it possible that there's just no projectors in this room as to keep you away from the module or knowing about it?
she kind of cocks her head at you, and then it's kind of looking at her chest, and then just slightly tilts up. So she's looking at you, as if she was happy to have the conversation at that level, and then maybe realised she'd adjust where, her view would be, because you're taller. And she goes, and just kind of stares, and get her lips kind of pressed together a little, and goes, sure. And looks at the door, and then looks back at you and has her like her arms folded in front of her. She's like, maybe you need to bring the mobile housing unit into this room.
That's where I was going to get to. Okay, what does it look like?
And she kind of looks at you like,
You
and then she
don't
brings up
do
like a computer log, and it just brings up like the logs and reports that have been filed mentioning the mobile housing unit. There's no images, but it's just a whole screen of data that obviously she understands. And she's like, well, to me it looks like this, and it kind of like rotates the kind of screen that she's projecting to you.
Okay.
It's a whole bunch of random computer code to you.
Next. No, not.
I suppose I'd look over
Wow.
it. Yes, Captain?
Do you understand this? And I'd point towards the crazy.
She just holds her
code.
hand up in your direction, and it projects one in front of you as well.
I take it I don't understand anymore.
It looks
No.
really, really familiar. Like it's just loads of reports filed about what you would do if you're like doing kind of like computer software updates to something,
Mm-hmm.
like firmware,
Nice.
etc., and stuff like that.
So it's entirely the code and not a physical description?
Yeah.
Okay. This doesn't help. I suggest we go in and have a look.
Like her hands kind of drop by her side in that kind of overdramatic teenage way, and then the screens flicker away. She's like,
Just
I really need that, and then she like makes like a kind of cube shape with her hands, vaguely, and then she kind of gives up on that idea and then points into the room. So I need what's in there.
If I may, as she was saying this, I'd already have just got bored with this and walked in.
Maybe you just walk through her, or is it? Would you walk around her?
Sure, yeah, that'd be funny. I'll do that.
Yeah. So I kind of need this thing, and then maybe you just walk past, like towards the camera. Yep. So you're gonna head in the room.
I am indeed.
Yeah. You walk in. You're in another lab. In this lab, there is one workstation that's halfway in the room, and at the far side of the room, there is a very kind of large, what looks like kind of big, kind of slate grey, like almost like heavy steel doors, and like again like a big kind of column at the far side of the room.
Cool. I'm not going to be the one to interfere with computers. I think we know who that should be. I'll just calm over to everyone. So, I've walked through the door and it's fine.
Like it's not a big place either. Like this lab's maybe 20 foot at best.
It's for whatever reason they've decided not to have her be able to manifest.
Now, is this private comms or open?
No, I would just broadcast that across. I wouldn't mind her hearing this. But there's nothing to stop anyone else, as far as I can tell.
Like if the audience are looking back through the doorway from your perspective as well, you can see her like leaning in with like her hands like gripped on the side of the door, but the fingers are vanished because obviously they're not in the projector's range, and then she's kind of looking around the corner. But like as I said, you've only got like half of her fingers appearing and hands backwards as she's kind of gripped to the doorway, because obviously she's super eager for the mobile housing unit. Well then.
I'd say to her, I'd sort of turn and say to her, it's probably just a security feature. For some reason, they've decided.
She's just
don't
like
want
nodding
you-
through the entire like time we were addressing her, as if I'm totally listening.
Yeah, they don't want you near your own mobile
Starts shaking
housing.
her head as soon as you start to say they don't want, so she starts shaking her head side to side, just automatically again as you're talking to her.
Alice, are you? Oh, his accent changed. Are you again? Are you okay?
I have no base of reference for that statement. Let's say yes.
Honestly, that's probably roughly accurate.
She gives you like a thumbs up, but you can only see like half of it. And then she kind of looks sad at her hand and pulls it back, and then kind of like gives the thumbs up from further back, like a super eager fan on the news.
I'd return the thumbs up.
She looks really happy at that, and then kind of like does the motion of like going further with her hand, and kind of shoos you in a bit further as if, come on, I'm excited.
I'll continue into the room and just wait for others.
I think, seeing that Lyko is no more dead than usual, Nix would walk in.
Cool, yeah.
Just kind of turn to Alice and say, Joey here, and turn in as well.
She kind of like her hand, like she stands up straight, hands drop to the side, looks up at you, and just kind of goes, "Sure, Captain," and then salutes you.
I would grunt.
And she kind of grunts back, like as you walk past her, and she's kind of staring at the wall where you were in her line of sight. She kind of just grunts back, like, you know, as if mimicking you.
I don't want to be left alone.
I
with her
come to the captain. Hey, she's learning to be Vesk.
We're in trouble now.
Hail the Viscarium. Flickers in regime. So yeah.
From a chuckle, I guess.
Cool. What's Emmelyn doing?
I don't want to be left alone with Alice.
Oh,
This makes me feel a bit uneasy.
I mean, that's understandable, yeah. So you head in the lab as well, yeah. So this is,
Yeah.
again, it's only maybe like 20 foot long, this place. There's only one singular workstation. It's like a standing desk arrangement where it's all kind of like ergonomically designed around the user. Excuse me. And as you can see, like slightly higher up in the room, there's a couple of plasmoids at the far side of it. Again, just slowly floating there. But they kind of look like they're flanking the big kind of steel column, if you will. Or the kind of grey slate coloured block at the far side of the room. And then the station shudders again. Lights go out. Alice vanishes. Everything goes black.
I
Emmelyn.
feel like we should have.
Nope, there's no response at this point.
Yeah.
We're in cutscene mode, I'm afraid. I need you to make a will save for me, Emmelyn.
Goodbye.
What do I type? Just will save?
Yeah, just will save's fine. Bloop bloop.
Willing to save.
Cool, perfect.
Not willing to save.
So
Oh,
at this
Save.
exact point, you hear like hundreds of voices, like a panicked crowd. Okay, like you hear them all talking over each other, too much to the point where you can't quite make out individual statements, other than something went really wrong really quickly, and nobody expected it, and nobody quite knew how to react, and it seemed like it was like panic, and then not the continuation of the same panic, like multiple variations of panic. Like you would go from room to room, you know. If it was a disco, it'd be a very good band. You know, it was very bad. So you've got this kind of weird, I guess, almost cacophony of like the same emotion again and again and again, just from different sources. A bit like if you're a teacher and you were handed the same essay again from different students, you know? You know it's the same thing, it's just a different source. Not to make it completely relevant to yourself there. And you have this horrible hole where kind of like almost like you feel yourself fall to like your knees on the ground. Maybe both hands go out onto the floor. Maybe you kind of clutch at your head with one of them as soon as you've like braced yourself against the floor. You realise you're not actually like bracing against anything. You're kind of like looking off into like nothingness, to blackness. And again in the distance you see this purple glowy light, like before, like kind of a shiny kind of amethyst purple. And then all of a sudden, like the distance between you and the glint of purple like snaps to nothing, and you're staring at yourself in like purple crystal. So you're not in the purple crystal, you can just see your reflection on this kind of very large, kind of big, giant amethyst crystal thing. And as you're staring at it, you start to hear like as if something's whispering at you, like something like that. And like it's about to form words, and you could listen a bit more, and all of a sudden you hit the ground, and you're in like a white lab again. You hit off the ground. Everybody maybe like hears Emmelyn scream again, either psychically or verbally, or both. Her call.
probably both.
Yeah, so everybody hears like this psychic scream in their heads. Lyko, will save.
Okay, 1 second while I get that opened.
This is the reason why I couldn't have you talk at that point. I'll let you talk after this, but this is like a direct follow-on from her. Perfect. The psychic in your head again twists like before. So when you heard the Emmelyn scream into the weirder voice, it's the exact same effect again, and you feel that face looking at you again. You don't see it, but it's as if, you know, like you turn around and somebody'd be in the corner of the room, but they're not there. So you have that sense, but you don't have time to react to it. You just know someone's looking at you. And it's not necessarily a look of admiration. And then you snap into like a white lab. You hear the screaming in your head again. It's back to being Emmelyn's like tone, if you will. And the same for Zora and God, Nick's 5. Why did that just erase from my brain? Yeah, you turn around and look around, and there's 2 security officers flanking this steel column. We might need to be rolling initiative now. Dun dun dun!
Did we make them blobs?
Wow.
The blobs were inside of us the whole time.
Just like the skeletons.
I am the blob.
It's blob then.
Right, so let me adjust this room for you guys. Can everyone drag their character sheet tokens just into the center of the map, and I'll deal with it as we go.
Character sheet. Would that work?
Sure.
Cool. 'Cause I can,
I can only
actually, I can still select them.
That's fine. Don't worry about it. I just need you to do
I
that.
only
Yeah.
see darkness.
No,
I only see darkness.
yep, use only will. That's fine.
Okay.
I'm
Is
aware
my
of it.
piece in there? Oh, he is.
Sure. Right, so let's do this.
I always hear Arthas when I hear that said.
Right.
King rules forever, my son.
And then bear with me, I need to do this multiple times.
I just need to log into Chrome because I'm forgetting about this.
Ah, yes.
It's one of the best callbacks Blizzard ever did. No king rules forever, my son.
Wait 1 second till I now move all of you. Right, we have 2 Olkas, but that's fine. Or 2 Emmelyns, I should say. I'm going to delete one of them. Right, so
Delete.
Apologies.
that's okay. We don't have a Zora. I should be able to drag one, I think.
Be on in a second, I'm just logging in right now.
That's Did that work? What does that do if I do that? Yeah, it did work. Good. Right, so I'm going to see if this works or not. Let's just drag my own token in as well and see if this works. I'm still trying to do my best to learn as much about this as possible. All the wonders of Roll20.
Oops.
Right, let me see if I can now adjust this so the page responds the way I want it to. As I said, I'm going to do my best to put a fair amount of interactivity if possible.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, that should in theory work, he says, hopefully. Hasn't though, so let me just work on everybody else's tokens. So save and save. Granted, it hasn't changed it from my view, but I'll wait and see if it changes it for you guys. Anyone see anything yet?
I see my face and nothing else.
I don't even see my face.
I just see darkness. I see my face.
Right, good. At least you can see your
And
face.
darkness.
And then let's see, what else did you do? This one, and then this one. There. Can everybody see now, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see my face, but I see a square.
Interesting. I go to this layer and do the same.
I see a 4x3 block with all of us in it and the Eye of Janus.
Do you want me? Is it because I didn't drag my player on? Is it maybe
Nope.
because
It won't
No,
be for
I
that.
see it. And now I just see myself.
Yes.
So did light disappear for everybody?
Yes.
I only see a
Yep.
square?
Interesting. Right, so let me add light. So I need to do it per person, which is why this is taking a bit of time. Any joy there?
I can
Yep,
see
I see
myself in
everyone
the
again.
party.
Yep.
Interesting.
Still can't see myself.
Really? Maybe it is. Do you want to drag your token into the box, and we'll deal with that.
Drag the token in there.
See his token.
Can you see him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me just edit. Save. Can you see everything now?
Yes.
Good. Now I need to work out why I can't and deal with that. Now why can't this one see? Let's hard sight, all players, emits light, save. Interesting. Right, do you know what I might do? I might just make a new page because this one doesn't like us. Let's go to this page. Welcome to the brightest page ever.
What?
Let me just change that. There we go. It's so much less offensive to our eyes. Right, okay, so I'll just do everything on this one instead, because I think the other one's just covered in fog of war. I'll sort all that out soon. Right, so everybody sees a box?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, you know the drill.
Yes.
Put your people in. Pretty much where I had you guys before.
Just like there. Put the box, goddammit.
Yep, perfect. So,
Oh my.
yep.
The
So,
visuals.
oh yeah. So
Oh,
we've got big containery thing at that side, and then let's see. Annoyingly, there isn't generic dude. Let's just type that in. Man. And see what I get token wise for you.
Rick Jenner. Or is it appear in a database, Jenner, Rick?
Weirdly, the results I get are absolutely awful, so I'm just going to type soldier. And yeah. Amazing. These guys will do. Perfect. Let me plonk these guys down. And now they're going to look way more than they should be. Yep.
They're pretty big.
Gigantic men.
Yep. And in, like right in front of Lyko, there's a computer console. I'll just freehand it in. So the computer console is kind of like there. And with his back to you, in the same square that you occupy, there is a scientist. So, here we are. I'm going to zoom as in on the actual recording. Not a lot of space to play with. This is the room user in. Now, everyone has a token. I'm going to attempt to program it all the way I need it to be
Is
programmed.
there a grapple maneuver in this? I don't remember reading one.
There probably is, yeah.
Probably be a
Well,
trick attack,
that's-
right? Not a trick attack, a combat maneuver, you know.
Probably, yeah.
I know it's also like a reposition that you can move somebody from one square to another.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do that to enemies as well if you want to get them.
Reposition, yeah.
The obviously use flicker in.
That's right next to
Cool. So use flicker in. The two like kind of security guards look really confused and like pull up their guns. They're like kind of carrying like generic rifles. Again, look like the heaviest armed guys that yous have experienced so far from all the weird people that have flickered in as you went through. Because obviously, you maybe have experienced this firsthand, Lyko, with one falling on you and pulling their knife out of their boot. Right, let me see if I can now edit your tokens so they all represent yourselves. Let's see. This is Zora.
Daora.
See if you go into the edit settings. Do you have access to what the bars represent? Let me just. I'll need to edit everything else first
Yes.
before. Right. You'll need
I think.
me to assign this a bit more for you before you'll see it all. So there should be an extra drop down after what the bars, like the green, blue, and red, mean. Emmelyn, you'll be done in a second. Cool. Right. So I'm going to use Zora just now. Right, if you click on the cog, do you now have bar 1, blank space, and then a drop down?
That will drop.
It's not working there. It's a token. Nope. Bar 1, bar 2, bar
And nothing
3,
after
aura
that?
1, aura 2.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It means I'll need to code it. I don't know how I'm going to be able to perma-code that, but we'll find out. I'll do it on this one. Green is going to be stamina. Right, so let's put that was SP. I'll code this just now. I'll quickly do this for everybody. If you want to like look up your grapple and all that while we're doing this.
Yeah, I've just had a quick read.
Green will
That's
be SP, blue will be health because of the order I want this to be in. HP, and then resolve points can be red because of the way this is going to display it. Where are you? The letter R. I have lost you. There we go. Good, this should be auto-filling, and then if I should just go bam, 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 get rid of the names, save. There we go, everybody can see the bars of Zora, or just Zora?
Yeah.
Can see it.
Good, I'm going to edit that for everybody else now. So bear with me, I'll tag all this in, because hopefully, if we just use the same page for combat and refresh it every time, all the token info will still be the same. Let's see. So, top one is stamina. SP, HP, and then RP. And then click, 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 save. You might want to reset all your stats, Colin,
okay.
on your character sheet. Yep.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
SP.
And the combat test.
The combat test.
12 points.
Why? Why is it always us that make weird mouth noises?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, true. And that should
I don't know
represent
why,
dances.
but I know that it is. And therefore,
Indeed.
a witch.
And last but not least, Olka, stamina, HP, and then resolve points. I'm hoping we don't need the resolve points, but they may as well be coded in anyway. Now, when you guys edit your character sheets to reflect this, those numbers will change, which is quite funky. Right, so now click on your tokens and roll some initiative, please.
Should we roll in any particular order?
I mean, if you're clicking on your tokens, it's going to make the order for us, so carry on.
No, I just meant, to roll it, but
Yes.
it's a solid roll.
Right, let me
Exactly what I meant to be.
Just as planned. Just according to Keikaku.
I'm going to add in a couple of turns. Right, okay.
Translator's note, Keikaku means plan.
Let's see. Add a turn for this boyo. And let me just call him number 1. Add a token for this boyo. Let's call him number 2. Right. That will do. Yeah, sure. So, I need to roll initiative for these dudes. Obviously I'm not going to use a token for the guy that's standing on the same square as Lyko, just for obvious reasons. Right, okay, so let's roll initiative for the first guy. /R space 1d20 plus, what are we adding for these dudes? A mere 2. It's not bad. First guy. Oofed. Second guy. He was on the ball. Yup.
22. Ooh, 22.
Right. So, while we have our order, let me just update this so it actually does it in descending. There we go. So Lyko, because obviously, you're training, I guess, for situations similar to this.
Indeedy.
And obviously you were first in the room, so probably the best positioned to react when everything flickered, despite random psychic jank. Yeah. What do you do?
The scientists did their back to me.
Yeah, they looked like they've panicked because they've seen the 2 guards lift their guns up and point them at him. And he's been
I'm gonna attempt to grab him and hold him hostage.
Okay.
Okay, so attempting to grapple, not crapple, Colin. Grapple.
And what are the rules for grapple? What page were they on?
They are on page 246. Hold the target in place. They can't do certain maneuvers. It's all explained there, but the test I'm looking for is...
You need to roll against CAC of 13, which is a kinetic armor class for everyone listening at home.
Plus 13. What am I rolling? What skill am I using to roll it?
I mean, it's going to be strength, right?
Strength.
So it says here, your target's grappled, can't move, blah 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 blah. Use your stand action to grapple maneuver.
Acrobatic skill. No, wait, no.
That's to
Well, that's what they use to break free.
So it's an attack roll, exceeds against that. I mean, it's just an unarmed melee roll then, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't really specify here. Standard action. Oh, well, it's the combat maneuver, right? So as a standard action, you can attempt one of the following combat maneuvers. For each maneuver, choose a point within your reach, including weapon reach. Then make a melee attack roll versus kinetic armor class plus 8. The effects are blah blah blah. So it is against kinetic armor class plus 8. So yeah, their kinetic armor class is 0.
Okay, well they get plus 13 to it based on that. So now, if only I'd coded an unarmed melee attack.
All right.
How would I roll that then?
Just do /1d20 /r space 1d20 plus whatever your strength roll is.
D20. I have no strength bonus, so it literally is just a 1d20 roll.
And there's no base attack bonus, no?
No, I think we looked at
Right, okay.
half.
That is enough to grab them because again their kinetic armor class is 8.
Remember, they get plus 13 for
That-
grapple.
No, if you read it, it's it says here, if the result of your attack roll exceeds the target's
Oh, right, that's it.
by
right,
13, the
I see.
additional effect happens. They basically
I
get
see,
pinned
sorry.
if you do
It's
it
the-
really well.
see, for the basic combat maneuver stat applies to it, but
Exactly.
again, okay, so I'm able to actually grab them at least.
Yep, so you've grabbed this
Good.
poor scientist. But probably made it easier the fact that they put their hands up to the guns pointed at them from the 2 guards.
Yeah.
You know? Like, oh god, why? And then you, like, you know, you just kind of reach in and, you know, grab.
So, having grabbed them,
Mm.
I will say, look, if it's any consolation, you don't seem to get turned into an energy blob. And use my move action to draw my pistol. My other hand. I've grabbed them with my left.
Yeah.
Sort of like standard hand around neck and arm, sort of shoulder. Kind of like a chokehold, almost, but not actually applying any pressure. Just I could apply pressure if you tried to get away kind of hold. And use the other one to use my move action to draw my my pistol and point it at the guard on the right. Obviously, I have no actions left with which to attack him, but I'm just sort of putting on warning.
I'm trying to look up the slight details of. It must have at least one free hand. Yeah, so it only needs one hand. That's fine. Yeah.
Yep.
That works for me.
So yeah, I will address the guard if I can.
I mean,
Would he hear me just speaking?
are you going to broadcast your comms? User in this.
For broadcast, they should be able to.
Yeah, user in spacesuits. Remember?
Yeah. Well, everyone's in space. It's space, of course. I will broadcast to them. We're no threat. This is as confusing for us as it is for you. Put the guns down, and I'll put the dork down.
You just like hear the really panicky breathing of like the guy in front. Like you could probably feel through like your arm holding across his chest, like the heartbeat like pounding away. Which is probably like,
Lyko's so much of a dick.
but like that's probably Quint to you, Mr. Quint, isn't it?
Yes, well, that's true.
The beating of a heart once more. And yeah, the 2 guards are just like kind of at this point now just screaming, "Get down on the floor! Where the hell did you come from? Radio this in," is what you're hearing, and like the time span you'll have to react to this. Is that your move? Yeah.
That's my move.
Yep. Right. Well, Trigger Happy Joe is pointing his gun, and you just hear him say, "Release the hostage," and then like kind of like starts to sight down his gun as if that was a formality to say that out loud, and then goes to start
Soft
Like
cover,
aiming at you?
baby.
Oh no, he's not going to fire, but he's aiming like at you. You can see him like sighting you. Kind of as if you also get the impression from your years of being a steward. You know how this works. That's a target that is not necessarily valuable. So maybe it's expendable, considering what their job might be. So yeah, he's doing that on his turn, and then holding his action. Zora.
Okay. I would say. Is there any sort of like diplomacy like rolls or anything during combat?
Well, what do you want to try and do?
I was gonna say lower your guns and we'll release the hostage.
I mean, is that diplomacy or intimidation? Because it feels more intimidation because there's an implied
It's meant
threat.
as diplomacy.
Yeah, but it's the Vesk way of going. Either way, nobody dies, so it's boring.
I mean, it's probably very similar. Let's face it. That's me being diplomatic as a Vesk. Let's face it.
Mhm.
Like, I could say like, stop being stupid. We'll just kill you because there's more of us. You've got the hostage, but like, I'm not, because I'm being as diplomatic as I think a Vesk would be.
At this point, the other guy has already just finished coming in, and you hear klaxons going off, similar to what you heard when you arrived and opened those first corridor doors. So yeah, what are you actually going to do, Zora? You've got Jumpy McGee here, who is pointing his gun, taking aim, and he's pointing it between Lyko and you because you're the two in front. Also, you know, Spooky Boy and Lizard Man.
Yeah.
So yeah, so he's pretty much like, as I said, you can clearly tell he's waiting on something, like a mechanical trigger for a move to take action, but not doing anything. And the other guy's just finished coming in, who seems the more camera of the two, or just panic-stricken and thus not reacting as fast as the other guy.
I would just say, like, call off the attack. Like, we don't need to fight here, I guess.
The quieter guy huffs at that and goes, "Ha, Vesk, filth." And then his gun just stays on you the whole time.
That point, I just shoot him.
Depends.
I
I mean, you're a Vesk that just appeared from nowhere, according to this guy, right? And have went, "We have a hostage. Also, everything's fine. I breach peace." You're holding, you know, like, their scientist hostage in, like, their secure room.
This is a problem. I'm just gotta, like, sigh and say, have it your way, and I guess I'm just gonna shoot him.
So you're going to use your move to draw your weapon.
Yes.
Well, I guess now you had your weapon in your hands, sorry, because you definitely had
Yeah.
yours in your hands, so yeah.
Oh, well, actually, sorry, before I actually do anything, since it's combat and I need to do this anyway.
Yep. Going to tell me your attunement, right?
Yes, I'm going to go, let's go gravity this time. Graviton.
So you don't incinerate everybody in this room, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, maybe a good idea.
Okay, Solarian
Right.
class attunement, go.
Yes, boom. Boom, right, just do that, right. 1, 3. I'll just do
Excellent.
3 there, I forgot to do it. So.
It's fine.
And then I will use my move to go solar armor, use my solar armor.
So that's a move action
move.
type move, yep, and then
Move. I guess I would kind of reach my arm into the.
do you have a button you
air
can push for your armor at all, or is it just a thing that
and- Yes, I
happens?
can.
Yep,
I
cool.
can.
Yep, may as well always chuck it in the chat, yep.
Basically, yeah, thematically, I would kind of just like reach my arm into the air, and my crazy black crystal thing would start merging into black armor that's extremely black.
The blackest of the blacks that you possibly could black.
Right, is the blackest of the black.
So the scene so
Black
far
and
is, have it your way, your Vesk hand goes to like kind of reach for your black glowing orb of darkness as it forms around you like a suit of armor. Not intimidating at all, man who appeared from nowhere.
Yes. And then I would open fire, I guess, because from a standard, I guess. That's allowed.
I mean, yeah, you can shoot him.
Who's gonna stop you? The people you're shooting at.
The left one.
The
The
left
one that
one.
insulted me.
Yep,
The
cool.
one that insulted me. Yeah.
I call him number one.
Number 1. Die. Number 1.
Cool. So we're going to pause that there, right? Because before that happens, number 2 is going to react.
Okay.
So this happens just before that roll, okay? And let's see, what are they shooting with? That's not bad.
Zora, have you got dex being added to your damage roll there?
Maybe not.
Because that's your laser rifle. That should be.
No, I don't have.
What's the +1 on that?
+1
What, for the
ability.
damage, sorry?
Let me see.
Yeah,
that's
it's
a good
7
question.
+1.
Yeah, that is an ability.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I think that should just be 1d8, not.
Yep,
It should
because
be
you don't get that
adding
unranged. Unless Solarians somehow do, but I don't think they do. Right, so this is that guy who's withheld his action to shoot at anyone that makes a move against you, or against me, I should say. He's going to shoot at Zora. This would have been before your armor, just so you know.
Okay.
So it was the reaction of it when you became hostile to him.
Okay, 13, 14 then.
It's not gonna hit. It's not gonna matter. So
Okay.
he shoots right across. Misses. Maybe just nearly misses Nyx, you know. So obviously, yeah, he's already opened fire. That also puts him in a new initiative, which is fine because he went just before you basically, so that's fine that he still stays where he is in the initiative order. Good. So he's done. He's shot at you. You're welcome to now change your course of action now that I've done my reaction.
No, I'll keep on. I'll carry on with what I did.
Yep.
I'll shoot him. The
Cool.
guy
So the insulting one or the one that shot at you?
the one insulting me. Insulting one. The left. One on
Yeah.
the left.
Stick to your guns. Right, yeah. You hit with a 15.
Okay.
What is the damage? So is it 7?
7. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
I need to look at why I'm getting this damage roll.
It's fine. We'll take just the main dice roll anyway at the moment. Yep, that's cool. What else you done? So that was your move and your standard done.
That's everything I can do.
Cool.
In fact, actually, I'll drop prone.
Yeah.
Because that way I get swift. So swift go prone.
I'm trying to give yourself like the wee foot boot thingy icon, so where you're prone. Right, okay. So basically, what happens is there goes, have it your way, and then reaches up into the sky. Laser bolts fly past as the armor forms around Zora, and then just lifts the gun up and shoots at the guy that insulted Zora, ignoring the one that took an attack, obviously, because the first insult is the one that counts against the Vesk. The guy that Zora hits with a laser rifle, takes us seriously. Like, it looks pretty bad. These guys aren't particularly well armored, as such, because they're security personnel. But that looked like a really sore hit on him. He doesn't look great. Emmelyn, you're up.
Where is this
Right.
foot icon? Sorry.
Right. So remember all the tokens we used in 13th age,
Yeah, the wee circle button. The wee
Yep.
button. Okay. I'm
and
trying to find that. I just can't find that.
where are you? It is there somewhere.
Well, I've got
There you go.
a bit of that.
Yeah,
that
that's
did.
it.
Yeah.
So you're prone. Emmelyn.
Right. So I think since talking is no longer an option,
I mean, it's always an
Hi.
option.
I
right.
will try to daze the one that was shooting at Zora.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm gonna, as my action.
So type
I
whatever.
can do move. Yeah, I can do movement after action, right?
Yeah, indeed. You can't
Yeah,
break it up,
okay.
so you do it before or after.
Yeah. Okay. So for my standard action, I'm gonna cast these.
Click the button.
If I can click it properly. There we go.
So much text. And just for the sake of people reading this at home, I'll just scroll up slightly and let them have a wee read at it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like the attack bit doesn't matter. I don't know where that's coming from.
Well, it is a save that I need to make if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that
Yes,
right?
it's a
Do
10 plus spell level plus charisma.
Remember,
so that's...
pop in the DC for me, so I can.
Yeah, it's on the bottom of the text.
Very bottom.
Uh,
No, I just meant literally get in the habit of typing in like whatever
Yeah.
the DC is for me, just so that
Yeah.
I don't have to read stuff
So,
like that.
Uh,
It just gets in
my
the habit of
charisma.
speeding up combat overall.
Yeah.
Which will be good as time goes on. Remember that stat that I always look for, which I can never see? I'm assuming this means they don't have that, which would make sense. So
spell resistance.
that's the one. Right, I'll make a save, and it's a will save, yeah, against
Yeah.
DC 13. Okay, cool. So that'll be. Well, that's going to be interesting.
ah,
Look at that. So maybe you're still. I don't know. You can describe the reasons why it doesn't work for this guy, but like you go out, you try and like mess with his brain, and it doesn't quite take.
Might be temporal hijinks.
Maybe like subconsciously you're a bit reluctant to reach out to other people's minds still. Who knows?
probably, yeah.
Yep.
A wee bit.
But yeah, it doesn't have the effect you're looking for, unfortunately.
Okay.
Now keep in mind now that he's immune to it for a minute.
Yeah.
Which is
but the other
different.
guy isn't.
Yeah, but it's a equivalent of 10 rounds, which means you can't try and daze him again.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's fine. So as my move action,
Yep.
I am going to, on the same guy, I'm going to try to cast Not in the Face so that he doesn't try to attack me.
Sure. And that's another will save from me, isn't it?
It is.
Yep.
Right. So that's my move action.
Yep. Move, and if you can you click a button for Not in the Face? There we go.
I can.
Perfect. Well, that's a no, right?
Okay, I was going to write typed in the
Oh, no,
DC, but
like
it's more than 4.
yeah, I was gonna say the DC is more
It's
than
13
4.
as well,
Cool.
actually.
I figured it probably is going to be 13 for most things at this level for you, but yeah, just
Yeah.
always type them for him anyway. But yeah, so he does not make that, so he's taking a -4 to you.
Yeah.
To attack
To
you.
all attacks against me.
Yep, perfect. How does that look? Like what happens? So describe from the days the scene for me.
So I think she is. So for the day, she kind of maybe reaches out, tries to kind of put him into the state. It didn't quite work. So she is just in a bit of panic, and not panic, but kind of almost pretend panic, where she goes, "No, I can't do it. I'm so like
Yeah,
don't shoot me."
Yeah, totally play acting. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically looking like you're not as threatening as a giant lizard that's just went prone with black hole armor. Yeah.
Which I'm not. So it's fine.
Excellent. That's yourself, yeah?
Yeah, that's all I can do.
This guy winces in pain and then takes a shot at the lizard because, well, yeah. Let's face it, that's gonna happen. It's on the ground. What is your what am I rolling against? What's your EAC for your energy AC and your CAC for your kinetic AC?
14 EAC, 15 CAC.
And what am I adding or modifying to this roll because you're prone?
Nothing. It doesn't seem like there's anything that I get from
It's a
it.
+4 to AC. It's not.
Versus ranged?
Yep.
So
And a -4 to AC versus close combat, I think it is.
yeah, so basically you become worse at melee but better at not being hit
Yeah.
in range.
Cool. So
Is that a thing, and where is it? Drop prone 2, 4, 7.
18, 19 then technically.
Cool. I'll shoot at you. Right, so can we get a confirmation on that rule of does he get the extra AC against a ranged attack?
Just trying to find the combat.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the drop prone
Options of
part.
combat.
If you're laying on the ground, you're prone. When you're prone, you take a -4 penalty to melee attack rolls. You also gain a +4 bonus to your armor class against range attacks,
There you
but
go,
take a
that's fine.
-4 penalty to your AC against melee attacks.
Yep, this is a ranged attack, so yep, that counts. So yep, as he fires, maybe it's just as you're dropping prone, so it just misses him again. The other bolt maybe flies at the other side of you this time, Nix. So you're getting flanked by laser shots. And yeah, he's they're kind of both bracing up against that big metal column in the middle. But that's it. Next. Turns up to combat.
Yes. I think Nix was probably hoping for a better resolution at this stage. But now that's not an option, he will probably say that I apologise for this course of action. And then he uses move action to engage tracking on the guy that's just missed him.
Cool, yep, so number 1, essentially.
Yes. Combat tracking. And then he will use his attack action. His action to attack. He brings up his big piece of engineering equipment to his shoulder, presses a button, and it becomes an artillery laser.
As you do.
Better than a dog laser, I always say.
And he misses massively. Damn.
Yeah. So, this guy, like, sees Nix, like, go, I'm sorry for this. Leans up, shoulders the cannon, blasts the thing. The guy is, like, just, you know, slams up against the kind of the pillar in the middle. This cannon smacks into the, like, the back wall of this thing. Like, light flashes everywhere. Like, the glowing white paneling lightning flickers off. It's all broken and dented in. Yeah. Considering you're on the outer ring of a space station, that's going to be interesting.
That was a brave move, yeah.
Yeah, it's good though. Also, track all your ammo, guys, as well as we go.
Yep, tracking it.
Good.
And then he will drop prone as well.
Hides behind lizard. Yep, pip yourself with the little shoe as well for me. Excellent.
Thanks to Lyko.
So Lyko, before you go, the guy that you're holding is like, please man, I have a family. Please don't. And he absolutely panics, and he's like, you can see like he's doing his best. You can see he's like, or you can feel the resistance of his head moving as he's looking, trying to like keep an eye on the fact that a giant lizard's crawling along the ground. There's been artillery blasts. Like, he's reacted to every one of them. You know, like he's absolutely terrified.
Okay, what I'm gonna do is take a second to say in the most calming voice I can. Look, we're not the threat here. Everything in this ship is just gone by the time we arrived. From the future, we look. It gets worse. And then I wasn't a hostage negotiator, okay?
No, I know you weren't.
He can actually do a passive jog of faking it, but he sees no point because this person, as far as he's concerned, is already a blob. And so I will shoot at, which one is he? The guy who follows me in the initiative order.
Number 2. Okay, yeah. So the one that shot first, basically.
How ironic then that he is second in the initiative order, second in naming convention, and shot first.
That's because I'm not making crits matter for initiative, because he's the one that rolled the crit.
Ah.
That 0.5 goes a long way, or 0.05 I should say.
Right. Shooting at guard 2 with my
Standard.
Pulsecaster pistol. Yep.
No, what I meant was type standard.
Oh, sorry.
Just hit the button again.
Hit the button again?
Yep. Remember, I don't need you to do shooting at the guard or anything like that anymore. For combat, we're just going to use the actions that we've spent.
Oh, right, sorry.
And any kind of DCs
So,
that I need.
reroll.
Yep. And we'll see.
Cursed myself.
Yep. It's going to happen in your favour sometimes as well. When we forget. Yep, blast past him.
That leaves me with a move action.
Which was probably to keep a hold of this guy, right? Because surely if that's your standard, you've had to let go of this guy.
No, actually, my
Let's see.
standard would be to I would have to use my standard to keep a hold of him, wouldn't I?
Yep.
Okay, well, yeah, that's a fair point. Combat's begun anyway. I'll just sort of let go of him and shove him forward but not
Yeah, like almost
repositioning.
like have him like smack up against the computer console he was on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not placing him in a specific place. I'm just going, okay, hostage negotiation has failed.
Yep.
Go.
What I'll do is I'll just throw a wee token down for him as well, just because he's now going to be in the way. Let's
And partly it's sort of as a show of good faith, like I'm not shoving him into the line of fire or anything. I'm not actively trying to harm this man. I'm just not too fussed if he does get harmed, because as I say, Lyko's thinking is basically he got blobbed already. This is the past.
okay, yeah. Well, that's him there. He can be represented as that guy.
Hey, that guy.
Just
Little
looks like
fantasy peasant.
he just looks like he's doing the whoop 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 whoop.
He looks like one of the little markers that you used to get for giants that fell over in Warhammer.
Okay.
And they'd have like squished peasants popping out from underneath them.
What else you
Looks
do?
like that. That is me.
So I like the scene again of you just kind of like eyeing up the second guard and just like maybe just like nudging that guy forward and then like pulling the pistol and shooting. But maybe because you're trying to like push him out your way, that's why your shot wasn't as good.
Yes.
Let's go with
See
that. Yeah. But now you've attracted the ire of him, and he's gonna have a go at you. What is your EAC, please?
I have to check. 'Cause I
No,
haven't
sorry.
memorised
Your
that.
your K. Your
Macaque. It is 16.
Oof.
16. Ooh.
Well then.
Gotta flex that dex, you know? That sounded like other than I meant it to sound.
That's fine.
so...
We all make mistakes here, a la last session. So don't even know what I mean by we all make mistakes here, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, so he doesn't like he misses. Like maybe like he was still aiming at like the Vesk and the android that both like went prone as if
Sees
tactical.
movement, sees the gun come up towards him, you know,
Yeah,
shoots in reaction.
yeah, it's almost like, you know, the gun started firing before he'd fully aimed it at you, type thing. Yeah, cool. You can see these guys aren't as good as the combat trial I gave you.
No, they've got nothing in Drow Boy.
No, they do not. Okay, Zora, the Abyss Daora.
Okay.
A tuning. What letter? P or G? So it's going to be G.
G. Yes.
Type a wee G in.
Yes.
Just so we can track this. Yeah, I'm trying to do shorthand for tracking this time, because I don't need just to type essays in this. I just want the stuff you're spending.
Just going to do that now.
So
It says me to type money ability every time, so it's quite an lengthy
That's fine.
ability.
as I said, just a P or a G is fine as well after that, because I will know what it means, photon or graviton, for your alignment. So you're charging your graviton.
Is it a move action to stand up for prone? Because I can't see it in the book.
I mean, it is probably right. It probably is something like that. Can Colin look up that, since he just went?
Yeah,
And we'll deal with it.
I believe it says somewhere it is, but I'm gonna have to look. Stand up. Special form move action is to stand up from opponent position, so yes it is. It's literally in the next page, the one I had.
Right, so, right, I'm just going to shoot again. Now I'm going to shoot the guy straight in front of me.
From the ground?
Number 2, yes.
So standard.
Okay. Yep, is there any difference to this? Is there any...
So you're shooting at number 1 or 2?
2. 2, I think. Is 1 on the left? Is that right?
Yeah, so 1's the one that insulted you, 2's the one that shot at you first. 2...
Or
will-
1. Number 1.
Alright, okay, yep, fine. So the guy straight ahead of you. Cool. Because
Okay, right.
2 would have had soft cover from you.
I was just seeing if it was prone, if it was doing anything to my shot, but it's not.
Nah, it doesn't affect your shot. Sniping you.
Cool.
So type standard.
I would, oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Good call. Standard. Standard. I don't know if click. That is. I will. Wait, no, that's
just the item.
Not,
Here, have my gun!
item.
Throw the gun at him.
It's good gun by the way, guys. That's bad. 12.
And this is against energy, isn't it? Because it's a laser. Yeah.
Yes.
That hits.
Mhm.
So is it 3 damage then?
No, I fixed it. Now.
Oh, you fixed it,
It's
so
4.
it is 4.
Yeah.
Not bad, not bad. Let me do some maths. Yeah, this guy doesn't look great. Not great at all. Like, yeah, he's got like laser burns all over. You can see like his like pierced bits of armor, and he's got like, you know, scorch marks on him where it's been like cauterized after the hits.
And I'm not even going to use my move action, so I don't think there's anything I can. Oh no, wait, I'll crawl. Actually, I'll crawl. I guess like 5 meters forward.
Ferociously.
5 feet.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just I'll go crawl in space.
Just like
so I'll move
I see
or
it as
crawl.
like a scuttering, you know, like a crocodile's maneuvering. Weirdly, like on this horrible black hole armor.
For the viewers, I will show the where I crawled to.
He's going for the death roll.
Mm. So,
Yeah, exactly. I done the roll in front. Exactly.
Emmelyn,
I would like to talk to them and say, put your guns down, and nobody else will get hurt any more than they already have been.
sure.
And I would like to say that in a much more intimidating way than I just did.
Okay. How would you make it intimidating? Like, what would Emmelyn do to make it intimidating?
Well, I'd like to say it in their heads,
There we go. Do you wanna
because that I think would freak them out quite a lot.
Yep. So, let's make an intimidation check. So just type standard action, and then roll an intimidation.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I suppose brain talk is probably a little unpleasant for people who are not used to it.
Let me do for number 1 and number 2. Well then. So, mostly because I have no idea what I'm rolling against for an intimidation check right now. So I'm just doing will saves. Feels right. Probably is right, isn't it? So
Yeah.
yeah. So you say that in their brains. Are you saying it so everybody here can hear you, or just them?
I
Like, what would happen in the moment?
don't know. I think I'd probably say it so that everybody can hear, because I imagine we've been in combat situations before, and
Mhm.
if I'm doing this kind of thing, I'd want the crew to know
Sure.
what
Yep.
is happening.
Perfect. Cool. As you reach out psychically and go to talk to both of them, you end up like, you know, that kind of, you know, you reach out, you try and feel a brain connection, you start talking to them, you know, a bit like when you start talking to someone and they start replying to you, blah blah blah, you know, the exchange. You reach into their heads and you keep going and you keep going, as if, you know, when you go to take a step but the step's further down than you expected, so you have that feeling where you kind of get pulled. You have that, and for everybody, you're back in the empty room. All of a sudden, Emmelyn, I need you to make a will save. And that wall that took an artillery blast is scorched to fuck, is the technical term. Yeah, so you get knocked on your ass, Emmelyn. Like, kind of like feedback from the whole thing. Like, you reach in, you overpower their brains, etc. You could feel them, like, going, oh god, no. And then, whoosh, you're knocked back, as if it overwhelmed you. And then, as you hit the ground, maybe the camera follows you as you hit the ground. Like, as they hit the ground, it pans round to look at the rest of the room, and everything's gone. It's the room you walked into, only now there's, like, destroyed, like, paneling. So they can get rid of the combat tracker. So.
Well, I helped.
Right, we're gonna have to hop, guys, so bear with me, because there's so many pages.
Ooh, it's the battle village.
Ignore the
Recognise
combat
this.
church. There we go. Dun, dun, dun. Exactly. Right, so we're back in the room. What are you doing?
What just happened? What just...
It seems like we're in two places at once, like a time travel thing. But I don't like it.
Distortions. Distortions. Let's just get this module and leave.
So you hear Alice from the hallway. Guys?
Yes, Alice.
Turn to look at her.
You see her pouring through records again.
We know.
Just checking. Hurry up now. And then, yeah, so these are now in this room with this computer console and big kind of weird reinforced steel column.
Okay.
I suppose Nick's 5 would step up to the console.
Okay.
Probably start looking for some information on. Obviously, there's supposed to be a mobile unit here somewhere. It's not obvious.
There's pretty much just that computer console, the blast mark in the wall, and this big, huge kind of, it's maybe about 8 foot, 9 foot tall, like metal container, solid box reinforced structure thing.
I'm assuming that's the mobile unit. But
It looks super mobile.
I say it doesn't. I guess Vest can carry it.
Like Zora, even looking at this, this would take like a grav tractor to move.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, I'd probably step up to the console and look for details. I don't know. It might have something built into it.
Cool. Yep. It
Make it
requires
mobile.
security credentials.
Can I try hacking through that?
Of course you can.
Yeah.
You try most things, Alex.
Hacking the console.
Hack the planet.
Ugh, that's not good.
I don't know what difficulty this is, but nonetheless.
I've not rolled above 10 yet for any of my computer checks.
It's fine.
It's a good thing I've got a plus
Oh,
9.
this is
So yeah, you go to interface with the computer, and the security credentials, when you go to load them up, they're already sitting in the slot for them.
It's convenient.
Yeah, weird that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And pretty much as you bring up the password details, that's when you notice them, and you slot that further bit in, so it initializes, and it unlocks the computer interface, and it comes up Project OMA.
Does it tell me what OMA stands for?
I mean, yeah, if you want to spend some time here. I mean, how do you guys feel about him spending time reading through the logs? He's happy to take the time, or?
Nope.
I make use of that.
Well, I know how to.
Cool.
Is there any way to do a data transfer to my own computer?
I mean, yeah, you can try, right? You can connect your computer up to it if you want, yeah.
Yeah, and see if I can pull some data onto it.
Cool. Yep. So you can start the download, but it's came up that it says that it's going to require like 3 hours or some shit to transfer all the data.
Can I look at the last recorded log on there?
Yeah, sure.
Last files that
It's about the last kind of logs are weirdly, frustratedly written, hastily kind of written reports about failed integration with user interface software.
So is this thing hooked up to the machine at all?
What? The computer?
Is it? Yeah.
I mean, it's a holographic display you're looking at, so it's hooked up to nothing.
Okay. I was kind of thinking about the metallic unit.
Well, I mean, that's from like the floor right up to almost the ceiling, so that's kind of hard to see what that's hooked up to. I mean, it's attached to the floor, but I mean, everything's been quite sleek in this place, so
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there is a giant release Project OMA button.
Oh, I will hit that button.
Without regard or hesitation.
Well, they said we're in a rush.
What are you doing about your datapad?
I'm gonna leave it hooked up for now.
Sure, yeah.
Depends what else we get.
And you hit the release button?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Everyone who is not expecting this, which is everybody but Nyx. The giant column starts to like move with a jolt really suddenly, to the point where you are probably pointing your guns at it.
Yep.
Like Alice is staring intently at it, like, whoa, what could this be? And then you hear like a kathunk as like big metal slate parts like move, and it all seems to be unlocking itself as if it's like a big vault container. Then it parts way, and it reveals it's like a kind of standing platform, and in it there's like a kind of humanoid shape, and it's like a suit of black armor.
So, I tell you, we're supposed to download Alice into that.
You know, for some reason, I wasn't expecting it to be, well, body shaped.
Not me. I was expecting, like, you know, some kind of box.
Yeah, something portable, but not mobile.
It was called the mobile unit.
Eh.
The place shudders, and the mobile unit falls forward because of how violent the shaking is. So it clanks to the ground. Above, near the top of the room, remember those two orb kind of plasmoid things are there? They start sparking off the walls violently, as if like the energy's crawling out of the containy orby goo things. And that's like the only lighting for a brief second as the lights flicker. And the place shakes, and you like maybe like the camera looks back and you see Alice flickering out as like she goes to like lean in the room and then steps back a bit and starts to flicker herself, and then she looks down at her hands and looks up at the group, and then like the lights flicker back on and the orbs slowly calm down as like the lightning caresses the wall a bit, and then it slowly retracts back into the goo. And she's like, "Be careful, I need that." She's kind of gesturing towards like the fallen over suit of armor.
This seems to be getting worse.
Mm-hmm. You hear her outside the room.
Does somebody want to take the mobile unit to Alice?
I guess I would kind of go over and try and hoof over my shoulder, you know. Like, have a go.
Yeah, I mean it's relatively heavy, like a suit of armor would be. Like it's like it looks like power armor. You know, not to steal from a Marvel Cinematic Universe anyway, but it's not like a million miles away from the equivalent of an Iron Man suit. It's just not as bulky as that. This looks more like personal body armor.
Okay.
So yeah.
Let's start hoofing it over towards Alice.
Sure, yeah, it doesn't take that long. Like you can just like pick it up. As long as it's like you put your gun away and stuff, you can lift this and move it across.
I'd start to leave and sort of wait by the door if I notice that, like, I assume you're still downloading away or doing whatever with your data pad.
Yeah, so does like everybody but Nyx leave the room then?
Yes.
Cool, yeah. So
I'd stop by the door and sort of wait for him.
cool. Do you say anything to him? Because I mean,
No, I just you know, I'd not try and hide my presence. Like I'd maybe try and do it as obviously as possible, if you see what I mean. I'm trying to express that in a way that makes it clear that I'm not just going to like loudly clear my throat.
mm-hmm.
But you know that way when someone sort of looms on the edge of a room in a manner that suggests, "Are you coming?"
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's doing.
Okay, yeah, sure. Nyx, are you responding to that, or are you just going to wait for the data pad?
I think I'll glance over and then look back to the terminal, kind of keeping an ear out for what's happening in the next room. But
Sure, yeah.
still cruising.
It's fine. Back in the the computer lab part, you've got Alice looking super excited at this suit of armor, and she sat there. I say sat there. She kind of leaning like digitally, if you will, against like a desk, as she's waiting for Zora to prop it up. And then she walks up to it, she flickers away from the desk and flickers in front of the suit, and she's kind of inspecting it, and she goes, "Ooh." And then she looks at its hips and its back and its arms, and she looks at herself and looks back at that as if she's comparing the figures. She kind of scrunches up her face a little as if disproving, and she goes, how do I get in? And she just kind of turns to all of you and then kind of looks down towards Nyx because she realizes he's the one that deals with the computers all the time.
I think that Nyx would come out.
Cool.
And
Are you taking your pad with you or leaving it?
I'll leave it for now.
Sure.
I'm
Yeah.
leaving it plugged in. But, and Nyx will obviously walk up, have a look over the machine, the armor. Are there any ports or?
Oh yeah, like there's like data input ports, like all up the kind of like the spinal cord of this.
I assume we have to plug this into your mainframe.
She kind of looks at you and gives you like a thumbs up, and then like a kind of confused face, where she's like, "Sure," as if she's taking what you say as gospel here.
Can you provide a data connection?
And she's like looking around at like the giant computer core in the center of the room. She's like, can you plug this? And she kind of gestures at the armor into this, and then points at the giant computer core.
Without saying anything, Nyx probably wanders over and starts looking for suitable connections.
Yeah, like yeah, obviously yeah. You've got all the. You can spend some time doing that. Do you want to give me a computer roll just to see like the relative swiftness you do this with? Because I want to see if people complain about the time you're taking. I mean, no bother really, is it?
No.
So yeah, like, I guess, I mean, much like when you plugged the crate in upstairs, you know, this obviously seems to be used to being connected up to this suit of armor. Connections plug in stuff, and the thing starts to like power up and on. You hear the bam 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 noises of it boot up, and like the nearby console like holographically appears on the kind of big columned computer, as if that's the interface for it, and it's just running like diagnostic over diagnostic. And she's like, "Okay, now put me in this," and she points to the tower.
Okay. Are you connected up to the same network?
Who knows? And then she like opens like about 1,000 screens in front of her, and she's like moving through them Minority Report style. Other movies do exist, and she's scanning. She's like, "Help!" And obviously, like you now seem to have like the ability to move these screens as well.
Yep.
So yeah, like we're running off the same computer checks for this though, just for the speed of your ability to look for the same coding that you're looking for. And then she kind of turns to you and she winks, and as she's still looking through them, do you react at all to her?
I shall attempt a wink back.
But is it like
Rocky wink?
Is it super awkward though, where it's like wink?
It's yeah. It's an awful lot of thought process going into only closing one eyelid.
Sure.
That probably aren't used to being closed.
Cool. What's everybody else doing when you see this flurry of screens fill the room holographically, and then she just says to him, "Help," and then they start flicking through loads of screens, given this place is shaking apart? It's not still shaking, it's just the shaking's getting way worse every time.
We're back in the room with the one orb, right?
Yes, the one at the door, yep.
Yeah, we came from the two into the room with the one again. I'm just observing it. Is it also looking more...
Like, it's just pulsing, casually. A casual pulsing orb, you know?
So it's sort of baseline hasn't worsened. It's
yeah,
just...
like it's exactly what you would expect to see, only because I told you, like, as you were going through these places, etc., they were getting more and more active slowly. This is definitely that way. They're nowhere near freaking out and crawling energy tendrils over a wall, right? But they're yeah, it's not really doing anything really. This is what you'd imagine relaxed looks like for these things. But yeah, so that's what it's doing. What about you, Zora?
I'd probably just be looking around. Like, I'd probably be paying attention to what Nyx and Alice is doing, but like, there's probably nothing you'd be able to do in this sort of case. He's letting the computer people do computer things.
What about Emmelyn?
I think she's crossed her arms and she's kind of looking around and like whistling a wee bit, just very impatiently.
Yeah, like, why are we
like,
waiting type vibe.
Like tapping her foot. Just like, come on.
Yeah, like, oh, why are we wasting time on this? Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah, so you get everything hooked up to where it needs to be. You've got like you've dismissed like the majority of the screens away, and then Alice compiles all the screens into one big screen, and she goes, "Well, there I am," and then points at it. Just like a whole line of like crazy code that seems to be weaving into itself.
Mm.
Like one of those kind of visual puzzles which don't move, but if you look at it, it's moving. That was
So
one of
is
those
that-
line descriptions for you there, Colin. I hope you appreciated it there.
It was.
And that's on her own network, not on the.
Well, you've got access to the data. That's what she's just loaded up.
Okay, so we've loaded that into the computer. So I'd
Well, you
probably go over to the.
You can load it in.
Yeah.
Is the
okay.
option essentially?
I will be loading that in.
It's almost like she had to need someone to do it, like as
Yep.
if she doesn't have the privilege to do it herself.
Mm-hmm.
Privileges, I guess. Yeah, cool.
Privileges.
Yes. Then I will.
Pre-village.
I will.
The
load that up.
pre-village. Oh dear. So yeah, what do? You load it up.
Load it up, presumably at the terminal, and.
God, I love your gung-ho approach as a team. I absolutely adore it. It's so good. We're gonna get through so much content, and I love it.
We'll get this fixed.
Carry on, it's fine. Right, so you hit load and boot, and then she kind of looks at herself, and you see like her code decompile, like from her fingertips down. She goes, "Whoa," and then like her hands disappear. She's kind of looking at him, then looking at you, and then she kind of like what seemed like excitement and joy, now looks like worry, and she's looking at you like, "Huh." She's like,
And
"This feels weird," and then like her code, like our entire like code, like from the bottom up, like just vanishes, like the hologram. I mean.
I was going to say that while she's looking concerned, I'd probably say, "Don't worry, Alice. I've got this."
I think then, like, after you say that, like, the last thing you see is her kind of like smirk a little, as like her face and everything like decompiles and vanishes. As like the last kind of scene that you have of Alice, and then you hear through like kind of mechanical speaker type, again like your open comms, same idea. You're a kind of tinny voice going, "Whoa!" and like the suit of armor steps forward with like a stagger, and like the arms go out to the side. And then it just slowly tips over and falls, and it pulls like half the cables out.
He says in character.
At that stage, Nix would run over and support her.
Right, so it's quite a heavy, obviously, suit, but like yeah, like a fairly muscly big person, quite heavy to lift,
Mhm.
and then like you can see like she's mimicking the movements that should have seen people do, which she obviously projects and mimics, but she doesn't have weight to her when she was a hologram, so everything was visual interface. Now she's physically having to interface with it, and she's just, it's like watching, a baby animal try and take its first steps. It's not graceful, and it's a big clunky suit of armor, so it's like smashing things as it staggers a little until like she goes, "Oh, wait a minute," and then the suit kind of like self-rights itself and stands to like attention. She goes, "Whoa," and then she starts to move slightly more organically. So like, she looks up at the group and then just kind of waves. "Hi." And we end there.
Got no funds.
Oh yeah.
I think Nix will wave back and say, "Don't worry, it takes some time to get used to."
Cool. So we end there, obviously, with her little wave and her hi and your "it takes some time to get used to" comment. What did you enjoy about any standout moments for you guys during this one? Obviously, Colin, I know you loved the beginning a lot.
Oh yeah, huge fan.
The first 10 minutes were incredible. No, it's
Somehow terrified.
Well, you cut out, so that's fine.
yeah.
Still with us, Colin?
All I heard was somehow terrifying, and then he got away.
Yeah, like somehow terrifying.
Turned.
Yeah, you're back.
Oh.
Yay. So, yeah. Well, let's go down the list, right, while he's sorting his audio problems. Olka, any standout moments for you?
I quite liked my mug moment.
I really enjoyed that. I'll be honest. You're looking for a wee thing. I quite liked that. I enjoyed the universe's best dad.
I know, that was my favourite.
It was really good. What about you?
I am now the universe's best
You are
dad.
indeed, yeah. You might also have been.
I have faith in that.
Nico?
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of everything that happened. Quite a lot happened.
Yeah. Did.
Busy session.
Session. Obviously enjoyed Max's interactions with Alice a lot. So
At least somebody likes her, eh?
That's it.
I enjoy that you have the patience for Alice. Too many Als, too much Al.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alice is now essentially Alphonse. Which is hilarious.
Yeah, right. I mean, put crazy AI into experimental suit of armor. Sure. Upload.
I don't know, it sounds like the right thing to do.
What could go wrong?
It definitely sounds like a 90s film.
Ghost in the Machine, probably. Other movies do exist.
No.
What about you, Alex?
Which I think I enjoyed, obviously, Emmelyn's combat actions.
Yeah.
The uncombatty.
I really liked the intimidation was quite nice at the end. I thought
Yeah.
it was quite good because when I was like, how do you do this? And she went in the head, I'm like, that's the way. That's definitely the way I'd do it if I was telepathic.
I like
Yeah.
that way of being having some quite pivotal combat things that don't involve ever taking out a weapon.
Well, like,
Yes.
essentially, Olka is your controller class in this one.
Yeah.
Like Emmelyn is the ability. Like in the combat trial we did, I mean, you made the guy I had miss a turn entirely by dazing him successfully. So you're definitely going to be great at managing the pace of a battle, especially your.
Provided
Please,
I roll high enough.
yeah, and you have that nice defensive. Please don't shoot me. This didn't work out to plan.
Yeah.
Which is
I think
great.
there's gonna be a lot of
Not
fun
in the
with that.
face.
Not in the face. It's such a good move. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. What about you, Colin?
Well, a few things I enjoyed were, as we said, in the combat, it was cool having the sidekick not go, I blast with mind, but rather try and use her ability to talk to them mentally as a sort of first resort, because I think there's a tendency to default in combat to combat.
Yeah.
That sounds redundant, but I'm sure you
No, I
follow
get
what
it.
I mean.
I get what you mean.
Similarly, I think that was the approach of really all of us at first.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And I thought that was quite cool that we didn't just jump into
Yeah, he's weren't
well, they're putting
murder
guns at
hobos,
us,
as the
kill
term
them
is. Yeah.
all. Yeah.
I tried, okay.
It would have been
I
more.
tried.
It wasn't even if we had, it wouldn't have been quite murder hobo because of the circumstances. But yeah, it was better that we took the approach we did, even if it didn't really prevent combat. But I like that we all sort of tried that. I enjoyed being able to sort of take the hostage bit,
Yeah, it was good. I like that. 'Cause that was the first thing
Just
that happened, really. So
like a Lyko move.
That was a great human shield moment, yeah.
it was literally just perfect cover. Lean in, grab.
And it struck me actually that that's something Dietrich would not have done. He'd like happily hid behind a party member, but he wouldn't just have grabbed a civilian and shoved them in the way. Which is one of the things that I'm quite enjoying, is that I'm sort of underscoring the difference between my...
Yeah, it's the finding your
First,
feet with this character.
Because I have played 3 characters now, and I didn't really get enough time with Athenor to fully explore him, but I'm starting to get a sense of who Lyko is, and it's just fun playing someone who, they're both kind of dead, is nonetheless worlds apart from my previous character, and just seeing how differently they'd react in circumstances, that's still a huge novelty for me.
Yep. Oh, definitely. I think what we'll do is we'll just, you, Colin, we'll just do an after show video as well, and we can discuss the nuances of this. I think that was pretty good.
That's only for £10 per month plus Patreon.
Patreon whales, I believe they're called. Yeah, I'll need to set that up so we can get our funding. Thank you to our glorious listeners, all of you. We love you all. Hashtag Callum's Precious and hello Nick from work. Any shout outs you guys want to do that are within scope?
No, I'm cool.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Nice.
Hi again, Nick. And also hi to Callum,
Yes.
because
Yes. And
yeah,
Hello.
See
you're
you soon.
our loyal
two
fan.
fans. Two good fans.
Long live the rat.
Next week we will be on Tuesday, just to change things up instead of Mondays. That doesn't affect
Yeah,
anyone.
parents' evening.
Yep.
It's better for me.
It is indeed,
Every
yeah.
week.
No, it's pretty good. And potentially it would be the conclusion of chapter 1.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Mm.
already.
Now it goes mad and kills everything.
First chapter is the deepest.
But yes, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for playing, guys, as well. That was fun. I had a lot of fun tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
been
you're
good.
all welcome. I'm going to stop the
Bye.
recording now, so ensue disappointment to all of our fans. Until next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.